Hey everyone, this is Ultra Runner. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little bit, but I've been doing a bunch of acquisitions as far as Hot Toys are concerned, and most of them are older figures, so I didn't really find a reason to do reviews on them. I know a lot of people with small channels typically do that when they pick stuff up, but for me, I mean, if you really are into Hot Toys, you probably have everything I already have, so there's no point in even reviewing a lot of those. But what I want to do is just kind of show you guys where the um, collection is as far as now. Just kind of walk you through it real quick and let you know where it's at, where it's going, if there's any updates coming or anything of that nature. But as you can see, my 6 scale collection has grown pretty substantially. And what I'm doing is essentially is mimicking the 6-inch scale uh, collection I had before. If you guys looked at seen the channel, followed the channel, and seen the reviews, so I'm really doing the exact same thing. And the one thing I'll tell you, I'm very thankful for starting in 6-inch scale. What it allowed me to do is really understand what I wanted to collect when I moved to the Hot Toys. Because the move to Hot Toys was not something I planned on doing. It just kind of happened. But what I realized is, no matter whether you buy Mayfex or SH Figure Arts or Black Series, Marvel Legends, Super Seven, any of those guys, what you're going to do is you're always going to compromise. And what I wanted to do is I wanted the absolute best version of all the figures that I really have to have. So, and I guess where the rubber met the road really was the Black Series release of Savage Press. And Savage, I mean, I know it's a $25 figure or a $35 figure, whatever he's going to be, but it's not a great figure. And around the same time, I think almost around the exact same time, Hot Toys released their Savage Press pre-order. And I looked at that, I was like, okay, this is really where I want to be. I love Savage. I like him more than Maul. I'll be honest with you, as far as his look. And I was like, I don't want to have a really weird looking Savage. So I started looking into Hot Toys, and I've got a great toy store near me that sells used. And they do because they do trade-ins and things like that. So I just went looking around for a few figures and started trading in some of my imports and my figure arts and my Mayfex, and essentially it just started this rabbit hole. So as you guys know, my only Hot Toys before was the Falcon Captain America, and then it just kind of ballooned from there. But the good thing about this is I decided I'm not going to have multiple rooms and multiple tiers and multiple shelves. This is where I'm going to just keep the entire collection from beginning to end. As far as these figures, so I'll have a display here, and then of course I still have my Transformers in my closet display, which I'll probably show that at a different time. But that's not going to change because I am a SS86 completionist, so I will complete all of the Transformers from the SS86 line, but Studio Series 86 for those who got know. But aside from that, what I really wanted, and I'll start here. So my number one fictional character of all time is Boba Fett. So I really wanted him to be a centerpiece. So I picked up the quarter scale. And the reason I picked up the Book of Boba Fett, Daimyo look versus any other quarter scales they have is this is my actual favorite suit of Boba Fett. Disney era Star Wars is not the greatest. That is true. But they have made some pretty stellar looking stuff. And this to me was, I love, this is very Django-esque. I know a lot of people said that, but I love this sleek look. I love the color. I love the combination. I think they did a great job. And I really wanted him to be a centerpiece. And this is a fully illuminated base. There's plenty of reviews on this guy. But and then I have him just kind of round the different versions of Boba Fett, with In Disguise, Prototype. Those are Black Series. Then you've got the Mayfix Empire Strikes Back. You've got the Disney Infinity Boba Fett. You got the Return of the Jedi Mayfix cartoon Black Series, and then the Tamashii Nation movie realization Book of Boba Fett, Daimyo. So I wanted to just kind of focus on just the characters and the things that are just the most important to me. So I have him, and then right below him, I've got my Captain America set up. And what I have is the center tier from Boba Fett all the way down are like the ultimate versions of my favorite characters. So for Captain America, I love Sam Wilson Cap. So having him spread out, and of course you can't have Captain America without. And the reason most of us fell in love with MCU Captain America is Chris Evans, Steve Rogers. So having probably one of my favorite suits is the 2012 Cap suit. I really actually like that suit. I think Hot Toys did a bang up job with it. And then this is probably everybody's favorite version, which is the in-game Cap, and I have him with the broken shield, and I have him with Infinity War Thor's diecast Mjolnir, which looks just amazing. And then for my third favorite character of all time is going to be Ahsoka, and she's my favorite Jedi, and I've said this before. And so I've got her, at her peak, and this was, peak Ahsoka. I would say, as far as the cartoons go, which a lot of us fell in love with Ahsoka during that time, was her peak. So I've got her with the 332nd, a couple of different troopers with different weapon loadouts, Captain Vaughn, Captain Rex, talking to Sidious. I had him with his head sculpt on, but I just like his mask or his helmet so much. I wanted to have him that way. And then, of course, season 7 Ahsoka. So, and then from there, I have my Avengers, and instead of having like in-game or whatever the case may be, I just wanted like my favorite versions of their looks. And it just ended up being a situation where I was playing around with the display today. I was like, man, everybody's going to be in black except for Cap. And I didn't like the concept art Cap on the shelf with the Falcon Captain America in 2012. And I just happened to move him over here. And it just was epiphany. It's like, man, this looks super good. Tony in the middle and everybody around him in black. So that's the in-game Black Widow, Infinity War Thor, which is my favorite version of him. This is the in-game Hawkeye. And I got him kind of like jumping in the air, shooting an arrow. Great version of him. And then this is easily my favorite suit. The concept art Cap suit. This is, again, I say this is probably easily my favorite suit. I think they did a great job with this. I don't know if it'll work well in the movie, but I do really, really love the suit, the finish of the shield, the whole nine. And that head sculpt is actually from the, which one is that from? Oh, it's from the in-game Cap. And then the Mjolnir is from in-game Cap, since my Thor is only using the original Stormbreaker. I've got to get a bigger version of that because that one's not that great. This shelf here is going to be my secondary Ahsoka shelf. So I do have the Hot Toys Padawan and Ahsoka the White coming. So I'll have them on the shelf with Balin. And down here is this will be my Bad Batch shelf, because as you guys know, Bad Batch is probably my favorite team ever of any group, comics, anime, doesn't matter. I really love the Bad Batch. And so those guys, I have Echo coming today, and then I'll just, of course, have to probably dig into my pockets to get Crosshair and Riker and Tech. And then down here, this shelf is going to be just like a catch-all. This is just characters I really love the looks, or I really like the character. And then that's the re-release, or actually the new version of Black Panther, the snowsuit, Black Widow. I absolutely love that look for her. And then Captain Marvel from her original movie. And as we move to this tier over here, this will be where the Justice League goes. So, it's not the Snyder version, of course, because, and I've got to get the Fusion Reactor kits for this because that's what I'm waiting on. But, and I'll probably end up doing InArt if InArt does their versions of it, just because what they showed looked pretty good. I haven't decided if I'm going to do those or Hot Toys, but I'm not in a hurry to replace those or to get those figures yet. So they're kind of waiting. Oh, and by the way, the reason these are lit up and they're lit up as well as they are, these are Fusion Reactor kits for Thor and for Mark 85 Iron Man. Then as you go down to the next shelf, this is kind of the rest of my Boba Fett piece. So this is, the Boba Fett and Throne Hot Toys with the Empire Strikes Back custom or a deluxe version on the left. And then Hot Toys Jango Fett on the right. And I just kind of wanted to show Boba Fett's evolution from, original trilogy concept, because that helmet is the concept painting. And then Jango Fett, and just how he evolved. And like saying, this throne is massive, but I had the SH Figure Art version and I loved that look and I wanted to mimic that here, and that's what we did here. As you go down, and we have the Boba Fett 2-pack, and probably in all seriousness, my favorite character that I have of all the Hot Toys I've collected so far is this Tusken Raider Boba Fett. I don't know why, but I just look over at him. I just kind of go, man, that guy looks amazing. And the pose is pretty basic. Just got him standing like ready to swing. He looks off to the side the way his eyes are. And he's got him standing on the base with one leg up like he's getting leverage forward. But I really like that 2-pack. And I got a great deal on it because I think during Christmas time, Sideshow was giving it away if you spent like $600 or something like that. And so a lot of people were selling these pretty cheap. So I got him on eBay for like $200, I think. And then, of course, Fennec Shand is stellar. That Ming-Na Wen head sculpt. I mean, again, for me, it's like these are my favorite figures, my favorite fictional characters. And, of course, down here, it's just some of the figures I decided to keep and have on display. They'll probably end up moving at some point. But the only three Marvel Legends I kept were Pirate Princess, Warbird, and then Captain Carter. And I'll probably end up replacing her if I get the Hot Toys version. Cara Dune, of course. SH Figure Art B1 Battle Droids. And then Clone Force 99. Or I guess actually more like the Stormtroopers, Krill and Mike. And a couple others down there too. But at the end of the day, it's, I didn't want to compromise on the characters I like. And since this is not going to continue to grow and expand and be 4 and 5 shelves and walls and walls and walls of figures, I want my figures to live with me, not me live with my figures. So this will be, as this continues to expand, I will try a review on a new figure. I guess the newest one I had was technically Balin, but my setup's not really designed to review something that big. So I will probably make an adjustment for when I start getting new stuff in. Maybe the first thing I'll review will be the Ahsoka the White or Ahsoka Padawan, whichever one of those come in first. But yeah, I just want to kind of give you guys an update of where we are and what the account's looking like, or what the collection's looking like as far as my main office view. And let me know what you guys think. Like I say, I don't think I'm gonna go back to the 6-inch scale. I mean, there's a few figures I'm looking at getting, like Figma's 2B, and then maybe the Figma Link and stuff like that because I'll have a small display for it. But for the most part, I think I'm just going to go just the absolute best version I can. And I'm super happy with everything that's shown, the way Hot Toys has delivered this stuff and just the fit and finish. I mean, it is a little bit more fragile. I've broken some neck pegs on some of these characters and some wrist pegs. Just trying to get them to figure out, and it's just a learning curve. But the one thing I'll tell you is I would definitely not start with Hot Toys if it's your first collecting, because the thing is you have to figure out what you want. And what I realize is I don't want everything. I want just the characters that mean the most to me, or something that's just like super good looking. So I will have a shelf. So this very bottom shelf, of course, I've got room for probably two more characters, and then on the other side, of course, I have room for three more characters, or probably five over there, because I'm trying to keep the shelves pretty clean. So Ahsoka, since that's an army builder look, super easy to do, and everybody's very visible, so nobody's blocking anybody. But if I did six, you'd have somebody standing directly from the other. I do like using the bases, if you notice, but I like the bases because of uniformity. So, for instance, like for the Cap up here, he comes with a different base, a specific base because he's a concept art. But I actually bought this Captain America in-game base offline or on eBay. So, one, it would fit because his base is just really wide. But two, just for the uniformity, because I do like that. And honestly, with these characters being as much as these figures being as much as they are, I don't want to have one of them fall over and like that at all and break them because And after watching Justin's collection and seeing a lot of people who do and do not have stands, I really like the look of the stands. Like to me, like this Cap section here is probably a perfect example. The bases are the same color scheme for the most part, and both of those caps are using the in-game base because they are in-game caps. So just the uniformity makes them look really, really cool, and I do like that look. But I also have, like the over here, but because Boba Fett's sitting on his throne and his feet are touching the actual shelf, I didn't want to have bases for ESB Boba and then for Django. So they're standing on the shelf, but I have them where if they happen to fall because of the way the shelf design, they wouldn't fall onto the ground. They would just fall like onto the shelf if they fell over at all. So, and of course you got the diorama bases for these two. And since they're together and they're mirrored, and I have them, I call him Tython Boba. That's what they call him in Black Series, but I guess he's Recover Armor. But for Tython Boba, I got him kind of launched off on the flight pole, and the other one just standing on the base. But at the end of the day, it's it's and same thing like with Balin. After looking at the Black Series Balin, it was disrespect to Ray Stevens to have that figure look the way he was and the way they did him. And I mean, he was short and didn't really look much like him at all. And again, like I said, for what he brought to the role, and Ahsoka is, of course, my favorite figure, my favorite fictional character, Jedi. And I loved Ray Stevens in the Ahsoka show, and I actually really liked the Ahsoka show. I've watched it multiple times. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. And for all that, I wanted the best representation of him I could possibly have. So, but yeah, so that's where we are with the collection. Hope you guys enjoyed this mini update and mini tour. Like I said, as the figures start to come in, I will start doing reviews again. But I just didn't want to do reviews on, like I say, figures that have already been out for a long time, and you guys could go see significantly better reviews of those figures. But I want to kind of show you how I'm doing, how I'm curating my collection, because it is really curating a collection as a Hot Toys collector. But I'm glad I got in this after I've been through my whole 6-inch scale collection, because I could be buying hundreds and hundreds of figures and then realize later, I really don't want that. But everything I have now, I truly want. Now, I do have space for the Hulk. I haven't decided, and I'll just probably separate Hawkeye and Thor to put Hulk right behind Tony. But again, that's another one of those pieces I've got to hunt down because they're not expensive. And I'm hoping with this Red Hulk coming out, they'll do a re-release of the Avengers Hulk. But anyway, thanks you guys for checking it out. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and let me know what you think. Moving from 6-inch to or 12 scale to 6 scale is a big diversion. It is definitely a more expensive diversion, but it's one of those things where I'm happy having fewer figures that are just perfect than having hundreds of figures like I had before that are not exactly what I wanted. So again, thanks so much for checking it out. Later, guys.